Oh my gosh, guys! Hello, we're here. We're here live today. We made it.
There was some pressing issues.
How you doing today, Bill?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
How was your New Year's?
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
You had anything exciting?
Yeah, yeah. Just with the most exciting thing was doing the 12 days of Fishmas and meeting a lot of really super cool people on here. That was neat. That took us up till Christmas, and then I just relaxed a little bit. And then for New Year's, I just stayed at home and relaxed and worked on the website and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
Nice. We did some. I made a video and did some stuff at home. New Year's Eve was fun. I had a sinus infection and I had a incident with my phone and got off the couch and it's just black. And I joined the evil empire. Now I'm on the
iPhone Life.
iPhone Life. We'll see. Works better with the Mac for creating, for YouTube and stuff like that. So it's like bit the bullet. I'm an Android hard for life now. My tech school has changed.
Right on, right on. Hey, welcome to the wet floor, you guys.
Hello.
I'm your host, Uncle Joe.
I'm Bill Marino, Aqualust.
Thank you guys so very much. Hello to Bye Bye Zero, Richard. How are you doing today? Monster Fish Gal. How are you? Good to see a couple people in here. So what we wanted to talk about here today, guys, is like we're gonna keep with the script of everybody else, kind of like trends and what we see happening in 2026. Trends that we see. How did we were saying it before?
Really like what did you see in 2025, right? And then what was your prediction for 26?
Yeah.
What did you see?
Where do we
happening?
See the trends going from what I read and what do you read and what do we think? What are our predictions and stuff like that? So yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I'd like to go over here today, and maybe just a little bit of review on 2025, some of the hits and misses like that.
So what do you think? So what was a hit for you in 25?
In 2025, really 2025 was just a different year for me in fish keeping, and I think it's some of the things that we're going to talk about. For me, what was a hit was moving on to a lot of smaller fish and some of the new fish that I had came across. So maybe getting more into like species only tanks and stuff like that. I really enjoy seeing more of that around and seeing that in the hobby, and just making it more normal and stuff like that. But I know, like, as far as other trends and stuff like that with products and whatnot, I don't know. I'm at a loss for a lot of them. I looked at a lot of things throughout the year, and I really don't know, actually.
Yeah.
This is where you shine a lot more, is with what is going to be new and hot on the market, and what isn't working and what's going to work. Which you have a lot of really great things, and I just noticed like the new fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot as we go though, and I'm excited to see what a lot of the new things are.
I mean, I think it's hard for me to gauge in the sense of the amount of time you've had in the hobby versus me, where I've got some experience and I'm full throttled, into the hobby, but you've seen more fish. So I'm seeing a lot of fish for the first time, and I understand that, they've been around and they've been, but I think like them being shown, not the local pet store never really had the selection.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I think like now, like for me in 25, I think I saw more new to me fish that I found very interesting. And also, but a lot of that is because of the environment I'm in, and now we're doing this, and I'm in the fish room, on a regular basis. So, I'm asking him about fish that, he's got at Uncle Joe's fish ed, and I'm like, what is this? And he's telling me about it. So, I'm looking at things that fit aquascaping, and like nano fish. So
green barbs, little pistos, which, I guess leading off that, which brings up to me is there's just so much new stuff that I came across this year, talking to you and through more people in the fish club and everything like that. Like filters that hook up to your phone, and they're even way beyond that now that I'm learning, especially the stuff coming out in 2026. Like, I run a whole bunch of air,
Yeah.
you know, and I had a bunch of really old HOBs that I polished water with and stuff, but even just the lights from just the last couple years. So I've just really taken in a lot of it. I'm excited really to looking to see where 2026 takes us and the future beyond there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys excited to see coming up? Like, what do you guys?
Do any of you have anything that you're like, I'm so excited this new product's coming out? You know, like for me, a big thing for 25 was that I came across the Eheim canister filter, their 5E, which is basically, we have Wi-Fi canister filters now.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about this, Jody and I, and I'm like, look, watch this video about them. Right?
I had to take notes. That was so
Yeah.
impressive.
So you know, a big thing is that, you know, they're going for the ecosystem of operation of your tank. I mean, to the point where pH controllers, it feeds and it turns off the pump. The pump is basically throttling by control rather than the other way around, where you're having a restrictor valve, you know, restricting that. So
feed baby fish.
Oh yeah,
the baby fish can't wait. Sorry about that, everyone.
So you know, so needless to say, you know, it's like, it's this tech now in filters, and we can have different flow at different times of the day, and it's gonna be super interesting. So needless to say, it's like that integration, you know, is like really attractive. But then the big question comes up is longevity. So I'm a mechanic by trade, and I tell people, you know, the KISS mentality, keep it simple.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that if you were to have something simpler, it probably will last a lot longer. And Eheim, with their older stuff, had a good reputation, but is the new stuff up to that par? You know, that's only time will tell. And I wasn't willing to really drop the money, and really didn't have a need at the moment. But Jody gave me a 75. I need to buy a filter. Do I give Eheim a go and see what this is about and build an aquascape tank with an Eheim canister?
There's, you know, so much to talk about, you know, with the new tech creeping in, the new species that are coming out. I just saw in the chat there was somebody bring that up. We'll get to those in a minute. The new Corys and all that stuff like that. The different tank styles that are evolving and stuff, like these tiny tanks. Like, and which again goes back to the tech stuff, with that filter that can just really run everything, you know. It's absolutely crazy. I want to get to some of this, look at a couple of these here, just because we did cover a few things. Yeah, as far as like the new fish, I was just reading about a lot of the new Corys coming into the hobby and stuff like that. You can't quote me on it, I'll just forget, but the amount of Cory species that there are is absolutely crazy. I'll still call them all Corys. It gets a little bit too deep for me. So, yeah, that's pretty cool there. I think we have to hide those after everyone.
Yeah.
Divide by Zero. What Divide by Zero is looking forward to. I'm looking forward to new challenges. I'm going to cycle some old breeding projects out and try my hands at some new species. Yeah, nice. That is too. And with what you do there too, this is Anthony. This works into what we were saying. What I see coming in with fish and stuff like that is like the species only tanks, because what Anthony's working with, a lot of these, I mean, they seem to do better that way, at least as far as how everything's going.
And I mean, in some old favorites, my girlfriend's son was looking for keyhole cichlids. And that's not a really attractive fish, you know, and it's like, you know, it's brown fish, you know, but it was very popular in the history, you know, of fish keeping. But now not, and he's actually found some. So it's he's got some, and he's really loving them. And they're very old style fish. But he's definitely into it. You know, I think in the hobby and the people getting into it, the new, like we were saying, desktop tanks, tiny ecosystem, you know, aquariums that people are building. You know, what do you think about those things?
Yeah. It's I have a couple of those little tanks here. I'm just infatuated with them. You know? I think they're great. It's just so much different. You know, that's another way that I'm changing, evolving over time too. We managed to, or I did, bird walk our way through so many topics so quick that we can, at least maybe go back and touch on some of them. We'll just wrap this up quick in a few minutes. Right on. What are we at here? I should I'll take a look here. Yeah.
Well, what did you think? All right, what do you got?
Oh, keyholes are awesome. They're not flashy, but they're great community cichlid. They're actually very undemanding as well. Yeah, just nice and easy to take care of. And I don't know, I like them. So I'm a big fan.
They've been away, and I was over there feeding them. So they're really, really nice. He's into the dark water tanks and stuff like that. So he's really got it. I posted the Ginga Guppies video, and it's got the Ginga Guppies in a tannin rich tank, and it really looks good. It's got a goldfish, the red stripe with a nice tea water in it. And that's the right environment. They just pop.
Are those award-winning first place guppies? If you guys want to get a hold of any award-winning first place guppies, you guys hop on www.unclejoesfishshed.com. We have them available on there. They're absolutely saying their bills.
We brought so I have a new video that I just finished, which was redoing my cube tank. So the history of this Ginga guppy was this. He gives me a pair of guppies and says, see if you can keep these. I said, no problem. So I had just shrimp in this tank, and they were very nice. And he told me the problem was that the colony had been dying off, and everybody's having some difficulty getting them to, not just die off, not a breeding issue, but dying off. So I put them in a tank alone. So it's only those two, and they blew up. The guppies do. I mean, it wasn't a challenge. I can't really take a lot of credit for that, but I had a lot of nice ones, but it was too much for the size of the tank. It was a small cube tank. So we moved them out, and Jody took them, and he's got them here at the shed. So we were going to, what was that beta show? It was a beta and guppy show in Ocala, Florida. What's the name of the club? Oh, come on. We'll have to dig it up, and I'll have to step out and find it.
I'm the fish club guy too, and I just
it's slipping us because we're on
the beta and guppy club. I'm so sorry.
But needless to say, it was.
I tried to tell you where it was at.
It was in
Ocala.
Yeah. So, but it was an amazing thing, and we brought the Ginga up there, and it won. It was the only one in its class. Which he told me 2 months later. But it is an award where they won. Yeah, they were very much saying that it was.
It's because it was so unique. Beautiful. It was the only one that.
It was the only one of that type. It wasn't rare. It's not like some big flashy bred.
UncleJoesFishshed.com.
Yeah, a very wild but a natural breed.
They're very beautiful fish.
Iridescent tails. You could see it on one of the videos.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That you're able to have time. And also,
are they up on the website?
No, they're not. But I'll put them up tonight now because I said this.
Okay.
Yeah. They might be, just need to be turned on.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you're able to enjoy that stuff, like through the holidays, fish keeping with your family and stuff like that, and to be able to have the time to go over and feed his fish. Melds into things we're talking about again, AI and fish keeping. Part of that, I was so overwhelmed by that Eheim thing, you guys. It was absolutely crazy. Besides the
we'll have to drop a link in there.
It's really cool. You guys just have to watch the video. By no way, shape, or form am I promoting to buy this at all. We'll get into more things later about this, but it's amazing. You wouldn't have to go over and feed the fish.
Yeah,
you could have did it. They could have did it from their phone while checking their pH.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting setup, and the idea is that it'll send you alerts, like if the temperature drops and it's out of range for more than 5 minutes, it sends you an alert. So this way something is happening in the house, in the home. For us, like the AC shutdown. For Florida, a lot of people run chillers. The problem is that can't get the temperature down here. It's not a matter of getting it up. So and they have pills for that. So
hello, Select Pet, welcome in. I got sidetracked, so if we want to answer questions, sometimes I forget if we go too far.
It was Tampa Bay Aquarium Society.
Was it? I don't. I don't remember what.
I have to dig out my phone. I don't even know where it is.
Well, what you were talking about?
The guppy
Yeah.
show.
It
was a combination.
Tampa was. We used their format, but it was like the guppy show. It was at the coach's house just a few months ago. You're really throwing us under the bus there, Slack Pet. Thank you very much. Gio and Jessica and the betas, and it was. I'm
it was
so
amazing.
sorry.
The amount. I have a lot of footage and just haven't got there yet, but I gotta put it together. And we got a personal. Jody and I got a personal tour of the coach's guppies that he's breeding.
They're absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful farm.
The simplest setup in the world. You know,
for some of the most beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And admittedly, he said he was scaling back, and so he had a lot less tanks and he had a bunch of empties. He was breaking the fish from down, but he's just doing the guppies.
Yeah.
So, but it was a really interesting show to have, you know, betas and guppies, you know, and what was brought was beautiful. It was racks and racks. It wasn't just
it was a good time.
It was a very good time.
Now how do we get back on track here? It's fun just to sit and talk and rap through stuff too. It's like
I mean, I think that, you know, you have a bunch of mini tanks. Like one day we just got to walk through this place, and just show you. It's got, you know, just like if we, you know, what's on the counter.
2 fish room. The counter's clean right now.
But what's that tank?
I have a quarantine tank in there right now that has well, they can come out soon. Ultrasino in there, and
like gallonage. What is it?
Oh, that one right there is like I think it's a 30.
So you have 30, and then we have a couple of 10s, right? A couple of, you know, small breeding rack trays, a couple of small tanks, you know, and then 60, and then what is this? This is 300.
300.
So it's like, you know, this huge range in here, and it's really unique, you know, and just this tank alone is unique with, you know, and I can't believe no one's brought up that, you know, Haku and
he's back there right now. I can see him behind us right now. PP is awesome.
He's there. But you know, I think
Select Pat. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I like chat.
Yeah.
But they're talking about the beta show, so we were asking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool in here. I like it. We will. I got a lot of 10s with fish available that are on the website and stuff like that. Breeding projects and whatnot. I have a whole bunch of tiny tanks in the other room with shrimp and stuff, and they're like to 2.5 gallons.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and you know, like you said, everything's just running on air. So it's like, are these types, you know, my overkill for wanting this tank? And like you listen to the description of why would you do this? Like, okay, the pump of the canister filter is rated for this. When you put that pump in the canister, it's obviously not flowing that. So it gives you the ability to buy a big filter and throttle it back. Let's say it's rated, just throw numbers out there, 1,000, throttle it back to 800. The filter is smart enough as it fills up to throttle up the pump because it's got more range, so you can keep the flow consistently and the flow never changes in your tank. And if you hear me talk about algae and this and that, I'm gonna be like, flow.
And then it alerts you to be like, yo, in a couple days,
you need to.
I'm not gonna be able to do this anymore, guys. So you got to clean me, but you still have a couple days.
But it's got a knob on the top that you turn the knob, and it'll bypass the last filter floss stage. And so you come home on Thursday, as they describe it, and the thing is reduced flow. You turn the knob, it buys you till the weekend when you can service your canister filter.
Yeah.
So it doesn't turn into a panic. So it's like, you know, do you think spending the money on the things that you find convenient better? Like I have a Oase Biomaster. It turn click and I am disconnected.
Done.
And I'm done. And my canister comes out from my cabinet. It's got a pre-filter, so I don't have to clean the whole canister. Just that comes out. You clean 4 sponges and you put it back in, and the thing's flowing great again. So I probably don't clean that canister probably twice a year, maybe. And it's a small canister.
Yeah, I wonder how often I clean mine.
But I'm doing the pre-filter, so it's eliminating the built-up load in the big thing.
Yeah, so I have a couple here, and just watching the video for the one you're talking about. Again, you guys, no affiliation. We're not promoting this product at all. It's just an amazing product coming out this year that literally can change fish keeping for people. Really, I think so. But that being said, just the ease of use and stuff like that. I had to take when I was looking at it, Bill, and just so many different trends and things that can be picked up, like equipment like this is just going to be able to help.
Yeah,
You know, and it's really, I mean, it comes at a price,
yeah,
which I'm undecided about. Like, I mean, the price,
yeah.
the price is what it is.
Well,
it's expensive, but
that's why I haven't bought
how
it.
detached, right? Like, part of me says, oh my gosh, that's good for the new person. It's going to make stuff so much easier for them. But what are they doing if they're doing that and they're not doing anything? So that's where, you know, I was taking notes, like, you know, like with some of the smart products, what do they do for us, and why are they cool? They're cool because you don't have to. Technically, you could maybe test less or clean your filters less or things like that.
Make it more convenient.
What's bad about it? Ways that it could fail because there's switches and sensors and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's its fail and what's its overall reliability?
Yeah,
you know, those are the questions, and that's like what
heaters and lights and everything can be. There's so much new tech.
The one thing that's nice is that, like, when you get like Eheim, is they're such a big company that they make all the little parts. That's what the killer is. It's everybody. The perfect example, I see somebody post the other day about their canister filter. I bought a tank and a canister filter and it was leaking. And you posted on there, and you're like,
please don't put a strap on it.
No. The seal, okay. These guys, like, it's brand new, it was never used, and everybody's commenting, and you commented on the post. The seal was missing, right? And I just was curious, what filter's that? I'm looking at it, and then I go and Google it. I can't find parts for the thing. It's a no-name filter, so this thing is hemorrhaging. Thank God this guy was home and that the filter's in a bucket.
Yeah,
but you know, this is going to drain onto your floor. And, like, you know, we talk about this, you know, a lot. It's like the wet floor was the joke when we were setting this up, because it's the nightmare, you know, of every fish keeper,
so wet,
you know. And so, but the
so
reality is that, you know, your canister filter is a huge risk. You know, that's why air is just, like, you know, a huge. You do the pro con list when we were talking about this. He's like, I'll stick to my my sponge filter.
Yeah, I mean, but there's just what you were talking about. Some of the features are absolutely amazing on it.
Oh yeah, so it'll feed and it'll turn your filter off while it's feeding. You know, it's you can have daytime and nighttime flow rates. Built-in pH controller, built-in heater, built-in UV controller. So you have a whole control unit, built-in lighting, do dawn, dusk. You know, I don't know Eheim's lights. You know, but the whole thing is that, you know, how integrated do you want it to be?
I have some of those that nothing Eheim, but the lights that can mimic dusk and dawn, the Fluval, really like expensive lights, and I think maybe they'd be great if I had 6 feet of water and was growing like high tech plants down at the bottom. But like I had the issues when I first had them, and you're like, well, first off, you got to turn it on to like 40% and not for 10 hours a day. I mean, I had that tank was just smoked that, and it didn't seem that bright, but even. I think maybe the percentage or whatever I have turned down, because they still seem really bright. And I showed you, they're like at 6%.
Yeah, well, you know, what it is that what we perceive, what we can see is not what the plant is using for radiation. And the fact is that the light is for us and for the plants. The fish, the ambient light in the room would be plenty for the fish. So in a lot of lighting, some fish are stressed by it, you know, so it's not, you know, not good for them. But so when you buy these lights, they're built with the intention, what if this is a low pH tank, CO2 injected, where the plants need a ton of, you know, of PAR, and that's where this light needs to be able to perform. And that's, you know, that's the challenge. So they sold it to you and you didn't need it, and it's on a bunch of fructose with no plant in the tank. I'm like, turn the light down all the way till you just like it, you know. And so, but I believe personally, you know, it's like, and this is where Eheim was going with that canister filter, was more mimic of nature. So it has a pulse mode where it'll change the flow rates and stuff throughout the day, so that it mimics, like, you know, there's going to be tidal or there's going to be river in and out flow.
Change the pH at night.
Well, pH.
So those are advances that
day and night pH,
technical advances that we didn't have before, that there was no way to mimic. So like when you look at the saltwater stuff and whatnot, so I can see how they're able to keep different corals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when I first started watching that video, and then some of the other tech stuff, like just the but they're planted tank lights, like the lights and the heaters that change heat throughout the day and stuff like that. And I was like, well, this is all reef stuff. And then I find out it's not.
Thank you, Fish Fam.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Fish Fam link. That's I can't. That's the little. So Fish Fam is the thing that we're hooked up to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I think I don't know if that's automatic or somebody puts that on there, but it's nice. Select pet. Hello.
What's this? Yeah, what's this?
Yeah, I bird walked through some stuff. I haven't been to a beta show. I can't wait till the convention. Yeah, that's going to be really fun. So I'll be at the convention. It's the Bluegrass Brash. The dates are, I have to look over there, June 25th through the 28th. The killifish people will not be there, but it'll be the AKA and the cichlid people, and I'm sure the beta people too. I didn't hear any different than that. Absolutely beautiful fish. It's a good time. You know, if you guys aren't involved with your fish clubs or don't even know anything about it, we will put in the description for this a link to the Bluegrass Bash, and just maybe start putting some links up to events coming up.
Yeah,
I should really get a page on the website.
Yeah,
that has all the events coming up in fish clubs.
If anybody has the stuff they want it posted,
oh
you know,
yeah,
we can easily
other fish clubs.
Like that.
If you guys want to send that, put it in the comments. We'll put it on Uncle Joe's on the website at Uncle Joe's Fish Shed, in the community pages where I had turned on there today, and I had an ad on there. Thanks for showing me that. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely, you know, interesting to see some of the clubs are doing and stuff like that. And we just they just had a Fort Myers campsite. I couldn't go, but you had a speaker, local club guy that was doing
Doc,
plants.
did one on plants, and so I'm not a plant guy. So what I know and what I've learned over the last couple of years, and I'm going to stick with one way of learning what he was talking really was different. So beautiful plants. People knew what he was talking about also. Great presentation. Really great guy. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is, I have no opinion on it really, besides that it's different than everything I've learned so far.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it just goes to show a lot that there isn't just one way.
Yeah.
And even with keeping plants, and like I have a big, beautiful Anubias barteri, and I just pulled it out of the tank. It is now this big, you know, and I got it from Doc, and I cut a whole big chunk like this for Victoria. You know, and
we really did bird walk. We're how many minutes are into this? We forgot. Hey, thanks everybody who oh my gosh, Victoria got it shipped out today.
She got our plants to ship today. So, but we were talking about it, just, you know, how is it going? And then you said, a few people need to contact you still.
Yeah. So a couple people I just don't have the correct information. So check and make sure you got that to me. Just send it to me in an email. Everything else we got shipped out and stuff like that.
Sure
we can,
including your YouTube username. That's where.
That was my confusion, and that is my fault, 100%. But there are a couple people that did get back to me, but I don't know your YouTube username, and I need an address. Thank you guys so much. But that was great. Victoria stuff's out.
Yeah, there was a lot of really nice stuff that went out in the 12 Days of Christmas. And that was his idea, like, days before, and he's like, he's never done a live before, and I'm just like,
I'm not even coming over.
I told him, so just do it. And I'm like, you're crazy. I can't get involved. He's talking about 12 days before Christmas. I can't come do this. I did 100%. One day, you know, but I think, you know, that was super interesting idea, and I love that everybody jumped in, and it was a great time. You know, a lot of great stuff. And going forward, you know, we're gonna try in the wet floor to kind of do some fun stuff and do some giveaways.
Giveaways, play some games.
Yeah, play some games. Have some things. You know, we want
some weekly occurrences, maybe.
Yeah, your input of, you know, things that, you know, you want to bring up and maybe educate the hobby on, or things you want to brought into the light, you know, about products and, you know, or problems, or credit to, you know, places that you've dealt with that have done you well, you know. So new stuff you did. How was your new week? You know, did you buy something new?
Oh, thank you.
You know, so I just reset
I-
two. I just reset two of my tanks. So it was, you know, it was a lot. One that wasn't a reset really. One was absolutely empty and redone. One was just changed the hardscape out.
Sometimes I know I don't seem sympathetic or excited when you guys tell me that you reset your tanks or
Yeah,
had to do something to them, and I really am. But when I just look at you blank, I do want, yeah, because it just is like, oh,
Yeah, that
it's
tank
and it gets hard, and I have to do it so often sometimes in here. I'm like, oh gosh, resetting yours that had to be just a huge, huge chore.
Well,
That's
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it
just,
was. I saw
it
it.
was snails, and you know, it was the,
Snails and
yeah,
guppies.
snails and guppies. You know, so it's just algae, snails, and guppies. You know, and just you can't get over that. So ultimately, you know, just rip them down and rip them apart and then redo them. You know, so but it's kind of the fun part. That's kind of like what I like is the design and the setup and everything. And so I had a better fish that I won as a in a contest, which I didn't like. It was a white elephant. I kind of got stuck with it, and
It's a good
you know,
story.
now this Christmas was 1 year,
It's
and
it's a good story.
Arta, you know, is the beta fish, and she's probably a Petco beta, and she's got, you know, some issues, and it just kind of giving her the best life, and you know, built this tank and have some fun with it, you know. But I think you know. So what do you think is going to be the hot mini fish?
Yeah, that's
Because Arta's not long, so
yeah.
I got this 11-gallon aquascape. You saw the pictures of it. What would be a nice one that's not going to populate and kill my tank?
Oh, it's populate. I don't. I'm
know,
all about.
I don't. I
them
know
to
you want
populate.
to,
So
I don't
like I want
them
them all to populate all the time. So but that's another thing. Like what a good thing I wanted to talk about tonight is like all the different like the fish trends we see changing and what is the next CPD? You know, because
yeah,
well, you know, they're the cat's meow for the long, especially when they're around. I'm seeing like a lot of rasboras coming back and new rasboras popping up. A lot of new barbs or not even new barbs, but barbs making a comeback. I got the red panda barbs. Right when I first had heard, like, saw them again, and I hadn't seen them for years, and now I'm starting to hear more about those and more chili rasboras. And
do you think it's because it's become easier for us with technology to buy fish? Like people can come to you and Uncle Joe's and have the limited selection of finites that you have, and now because like you know this was never available before.
I think that's
like if I want
the technology side again. Yeah,
rasbora, I just go buy them. I don't have to worry if my local fish store has them.
Yeah,
and I was talking with somebody about the local fish store, and like I asked them if they had pea puffers. They said no. They put me on a list. They never called me. I walk in, you have pea puffers. I just first of all, I just was a little annoyed, and then I buy them, and then they didn't last. You know, and they were definitely not looking good when I bought them. But you know, you try.
So that just brings up to me wondering, like, what I see with the technology or internet being able to buy fish. Are these the same trends? Like, what do you guys like? What we're saying as far as equipment and fish coming out? Like, I'm seeing. I just think that it's going to be more. But is that what I'm looking at, or do I have access to it? So, is AI melding and shaping my hobby also separately than it's shaping your hobby?
Yeah, well,
because
absolutely.
you look at
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna see
because our cichlids super huge, popular. And I just not seen them because I've been talking about this or looking at other things and noticing them.
What's you know,
like this brings in like how we're getting our we're getting our information what we're on these new fish even.
So divide by 0, you know, it increases the availability. Let me see what this says.
Yeah, we should speak
also,
in and say hi. Oh, hey, CR Fish, how you doing?
Hey, man.
Aquatics.
Read what I
got to get in here and look up here. I think it also helps that there is now a huge availability list because many people understand how to breed a huge portfolio now. Yeah, that's really true. You know, we didn't, maybe fish clubs weren't as popular. The internet wasn't there. So being able to learn how to expand how many fish you're able to breed, because it's really,
Yeah.
like, I had to go out and read everything and trial and error. Like, I'm not saying I'm no master by any means, but if I could have had information that I had, that would be really super, super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, you know, being if access to information is obviously, you know, much easier now, and so you can do that. But at the same time, I think just, you know, being in all the fish clubs and meeting the people you meet, your world is also changed in the sense of, like, if I wanted to do this, I know somebody who has done it, let me ask them a question,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, so back to what you asked me before I birdwalked again. But yeah, so I'm thinking some more of the fish are going to be some more of the rare cichlids, like our friend Anthony breeds, that are just harder to breed. I think they're going to be more readily available because people are going to do it and they're going to share their information, you know, and through clubs and websites and whatnot. And just, I really see a lot of these barbs, tetras, rasboras coming back that were gone. A lot of the, not the bread and butter fish, but some more of the rare ones and maybe hard to keep ones in the species. That's my opinion, and maybe that's because what I'm looking at. So I'm just seeing so much information because I'm getting some pretty cool fish in here lately
Yeah.
to work with,
yeah,
and
well, yeah, you just told me you got some pea puffers. What's up with that? What are you getting pea puffers for?
so
So
they were rescue pea puffers,
okay.
but I don't have to take them.
Oh, good.
So it was too many. Well, you started talking like 40 gallons and stuff, and it was like a pile of pea puffers.
Yeah, that's why he asked me if I could take them. I'm like, like one or two, I couldn't take that.
But it was
many.
like just a whole pile.
They needed a whole tank worth.
Yeah,
they needed to be in a 60 breeder with an aquascape.
That's
what I was telling him.
That's something that I just
there.
It's great that pet shops sell them. It's great that there are a few people who can really take good care of them, like you and a few other people. I see a lot of people fail with them. It's nothing really that. I mean, truthfully, I couldn't give them the proper care that they would need to take them off. Not something like I don't think.
Yeah. No,
baby fish are on an alarm, and you know, and
it's one thing, you know, it's the whole necessity of its type of food. And I have my pea puffers will not eat baby brine shrimp, you know, and they're very temperamental. There's no like hard rules until you starve them out. But that shouldn't you shouldn't do that, you know. So
they're too tiny.
Yeah, they're too tiny for it. And the problem that I've really had was that you know, you literally need to shut it down and still the water to not end up with a ton of waste, and then not overloading the tank with, you know, baby brine that's dead and rotting and, you know, polluting the water. So, you know, this is why probably it's also a great idea that you're feeding them something live that can live. That's why I do the Darrow worms that I got from Josh, which are, you know, great for them.
Yeah, so, you guys and all your live worms and good water.
But we talked about that. Your food culture could be more work than your fish.
Yeah.
And it's so important. So you're like, yeah, but you know what? When I started doing this, since I've done it, I haven't bought any food. You know, I have a stock of frozen, you know, bloodworms, stuff like that. So I'm mixing up their diet.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know, but I think, you know, we're gonna do something in our club with blackworms. They're gonna do that. We were just talking about it. Right?
Yeah, we're having a workshop.
Yeah, we're having a workshop.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
So is anybody around having their local fish club doing anything cool this year? You know, drop it in the comments. Let us know, because great ideas. You know, that's a good one.
I really like hearing what the other clubs do.
Yeah, if you have somebody in your club doing food cultures, definitely, you know.
Yeah, this is going to be cool. I'm pretty sure we'll have a good turnout for all that.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll be interesting for a few people to, you know, give it a shot. It was like $20 extra. The guy gives you everything, so you could just do it. You know, and you know what, you're not obligated. Oh, it's a lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're not obligated to do it. You know, so this way it was just available to the club. But you'll talk to us about it, educate us on it, and we'll learn something. So you know, for me, it's, you know, I haven't been in the fish clubs as long or keeping fish as long, and so, you know, the amount of exposure to a lot of these things, a lot of stuff is still new to me on the fish keeping side. I've always been into plants and nature and stuff like that, so I'm pretty well versed there. But in the in the sense of, you know, aquatic plants. It's been a few years, and it's been full throttle, you know, education. So
Yeah, that's something I see really taking off here too in 2026 is more aquascaping. And I think because of the small tanks and the nano fish like that,
I mean,
uh,
you know, if you want,
or am I being fed this?
No, I know.
I
If
just,
you think of it this way,
from what I see at the stores, there's more of it.
you know,
New equipment, new
plants,
gear.
plants, just like fish, are expensive, you know. And so when you start aquascaping a tank, like, so if you watch these videos and these guys are like aquascaping a tank and you watch Green Aqua and stuff like that, go look at the amount of plants they used and go price that out. That's got to be $300 to $400 minimum. I see at least $1,000. I was talking to you. I'm like, I'm gonna break down the 40 breeder. I'm like, I probably got $1,000 in boost flanger.
Yeah.
You know, just because I bought a bunch and now it's grown out. But I spent a few $100s in boost flanger. It's not a joke. And the whole thing is that it's it's one of those things where the plant I have now is no longer available because they're wild caught, and there's a big argument for, really at this point, should we really be focusing on breeding these things, not breeding, but propagation indoors and stuff like that, to grow these rather than getting them from the wild, because they only come from one place in the world. So, and that one plant, I have a video of it. It's a purple. It's like a brown.
That's why everybody wants it.
Yeah, it's this crazy plant. But now it's, I bought it as a tiny plant. Now it's grown out, big, and I've got a few of them. So it's like, wow, we're going to talk about breaking that down and switching plants around. It's nerve wracking to move that many plants. We were just talking about that. You can shock the plants and kill them all. But I told him, just hold on. Like, it's the 6-foot Valsinaria that went in the.
I thought you were talking about all my crips that died the other day.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about that. But that's a perfect example. We put that 6-foot and it died back. His water is a lot different, and it was a low tech tank that came out of the pea pupper tank, but it died back because his water is different. He fertilizes different, and I even gave him some simple greens so you'd have stuff to do.
I use it,
but
and root tabs,
and the plant has rebounded as all new growth, and you just got to kind of hold on sometimes.
The plants are looking pretty good up there.
Yeah, no, right. So
so
they
do look. I totally got sidetracked. I wanted to look back.
He wanted to stare at it.
But it does look
you
good.
got
You
a
did
few
such a
extra
nice
plants
job.
threw it in there, and that's kind of worked well. And it really has been working for the fish. We've got this hide for them, and then they were just before, both out in the open. So they're definitely working. You added more fish in there, and so, but right now that's a 60 breeder
out.
with two sponge filters running it. No Eheim filter.
No Eheim filter.
You sure you don't want to be the guy who spends the money and buys the Eheim filter and tells us it's good?
Oof. What if it's not
Maybe
good?
Eheim, send me a filter.
Right. What if it's no good? What if it's one of the things that flop or is in and then out right away?
I'm a Higer affiliate, so that means that Higer will send me stuff for free to check it out, right? So, like, if there's products you're interested in, and I said to him, Higer has this new little canister filter, and he uses them just to polish, so it's like a hang on back. And I said, let's try it, let's check it out. We're doing some testing right now. We just got a 1,000-watt Higer heater, and you have we think it's a 160. Really got to take measurements to be right.
We should take measurements.
The cube outside, so outside on bricks, so it's not on the earth, it's raised. And it's in his patio, right? In his lanai.
It's more technology. That thing's got all kinds of stuff on it.
Yeah, and so now this watts it's using. It's a cold water tank. It's got what do you got in there? You got goldfish and
oxalatus. You guys remember the spells. Hello, Dee. How are you?
No, it's not my oxalatus.
Welcome in.
Not my stone.
Right on.
So needless to say, that outside we're in South Florida. We're in a subtropical climate, but recently the temperature dropped into the 40s at night, and could go into the 30s. So what do you do? So I said, let's get a heater, let's put it in there, let's see if it can keep it stable. And so far it's been really good. The Higer 1,000-watt, and so, but we want to try and do things that'll help people. Like we were talking about is Eheim the company that they used to be. I have a the Jaguar
Yeah.
heater. You
Yeah,
know, that one.
Evo Dragger.
And 4 years old, and it is perfectly accurate. And I watch my tanks because of the heaters, and I really, should put it on a controller just for peace of mind and just let it run, because God forbid. But I keep the house. I only use the heater half the year.
Do you
the
need
house
more
controlled.
tech to keep checks and balance in case
exactly.
that like what if the fail safe fails?
Well, this is why I didn't go reef tank, because I reef tank was like $8,000 starting.
Yeah,
It's like before I put water in it, it was going to cost me $8,000. I'm like, I don't want it, and then I could have a hurricane and lose everything. So that's
Thanks, Dee Dee, for throwing that up there.
What did she say?
It's a mighty pretty fish.
Oh,
thank you. Welcome in, you guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming and saying hi too. Yeah, so much new stuff coming in. So much stuff's going to go out. It's hard to think of stuff that failed because it just goes out of your mind right away. And I don't like, I like to try to focus on good new things and, talking about fish coming in and talking about things going out. But I think I don't know on the tech side, but some of the trends from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing and what I'm studying and what I saw other people talking about is maybe like decline of like monster fish and things like that, or just like big fish and big community tanks going back into more like species and biotopes and stuff like that. So it's nice.
Well,
where do you guys in chat? Where do you guys see that stuff going? I should put banners up sometimes. Maybe we'll work on that later in life.
But what I think that that's the big point of that is that there's such an expense, and big fish, requires big tank, which is big expense and big filtration. Everything just gets more food. Yeah, it just gets more and more and more. And I think we're getting to the point where it's like, I just want something that's just not such a burden in life. Like I have 5 tanks, and I'm like, it is one too many for me. I'd rather have 4. Because it's so involved, and I want to be involved with my tanks. And I think, that it could be a big negative to all the tech, is that like your touch time with your tank, is it more than just feeding it? And if you took away the feeding, do you have no contact with your tank?
Yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff I had in the notes, if you're like staying on track. But yeah, like that's important to me here.
Yeah.
Like my contact with my fish is how that's the only way I'm gonna really know if they're sick or not, or if they're okay, to even come or go or to leave here.
Yeah, you got to spend some time with them and look at them and interact with them, watch what they're doing. They're getting bullied, stuff like that. And it's, and unless you're gonna sit there and check on them,
just the big fish again, like you were saying, just there's a lot to them. They're expensive. People don't realize that when they get them. I feed the thing a pound of food a week.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Like, where are they going to go in life? And you're like, yeah, I got to eventually put them in a outdoor. We got to.
That's where they're on their way to.
Something even bigger, because they're just going to get to the point where they outgrow this tank. And I said, then we can build the aquascape with waterfalls. We're going to do sandfall
out in the back. Yeah. We'll keep him. He'll be around here.
Yeah. There are rescues, and I mean, I think this is like the rescue tank. It's a great thing for such a volume of water.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. You got the goldfish in there. Other things that I think, what do you guys think is going to go away or even come back? I know I asked that before.
You know what I've seen a lot of lately, and I've seen recently, people talking about undergravel filters. But Doc,
it's over in the closet over there. I'm looking for. It's brand new. It's never been used. It doesn't have the down tubes, and I want to get the clear ones. And I want to hook. I ran my reef tanks like that.
Yeah.
Now I don't know the difference in reef keeping now from when I was younger, and I don't know the difference in the corals and the anemones they had now. But the stuff all lived for me, and I ran an undergravel filter with an air pump. So I don't know.
It's
no salt for me though.
Yeah, no salt.
Some of the things other things that I showed interest in, or I thought were neat to look at, and because I breed fish, so I'm kind of into like how do they do that, and it's a touchy situation with people, and I think, and probably for the better of the overall hobby at leaving, is we're going to see like balloon rams and or, you know, I mean, like balloon mollies, maybe on the decline. Maybe I'm way wrong, and they're just going to be
Yeah.
super crazy.
Well, the whole
Or
thing is
like
that
long fin rams and stuff they
this
can't
will
even
be
swim.
around so that people can watch, and we can come back at the end of next year and we can like critique what we're predicting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah.
So go for it. So balloon mollies.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff's going to be on the decline. Stuff with long fins, maybe some of these morphs and these short body fish just starting to kind of taper off as a hobby.
I mean, what I want to taper off in the hobby is glowfish. Sorry.
But yeah,
you know, like, you know, and I understand, you know, and I do, and I appreciate, thanks Divide by Zero for the props there, you know, and I want to help educate because I want people to stay in the hobby. You know, my mission statement with starting the YouTube channel was to kind of share my experience as I go through the hobby, and I feel that you'll always be learning. You know, there's so much to know, and so sharing my experience as I go along, and helping people have success so they stay in the hobby. Because if you get into the hobby and you have nothing but a headache and this becomes a chore, are you going to continue to do it? And most people leave the hobby within a year. And if there was more people doing it, I think that it would help the hobby as a whole be more cost, you know, friendly to people. And so
you just gotta buy that new Eheim right away.
Just gotta buy that $500 Eheim filter
and a few of the parts. You know, I'm talking about the fish that I think are going to be coming in and going out. The redfin cherry barbs, the longfin cherry barbs. I have some up there. I don't know how long you've had yours. These have been here for quite some time, and the ones I have here, they're mine. They're rescue fish. A lot of buzz on the longfin barbs. As I'm saying, I'm going to see these longfish fins. There's some that are here to stay. Longfin Danios, longfin cherry barbs. I'm more getting at like these rams that they're trying to work on, and like longfin African cichlids and stuff like that.
I think that it's very interesting. Like if we're watching the trends of the fish, and that they are like, we were talking about this a few months ago about, you know, subjects for the wet floor, and like one of them was like, the fish that we're seeing in the hobby, is it because that's the availability and that's the breeders are pushing for? Because like the great story of the German blue ram, right? German blue rams hit the market, everybody blows up, they're super expensive. Today that you can give them away, right? So because they're everywhere, and they started getting overbred. So, you know, what is that fish coming down the line that you think is going to plummet that, you know, and it's just going to be super available and common? And is it, you know, like we were talking a lot about, you know, TikTok or, you know, AI fish keeping, and why are those videos doing so well? And it's entertainment. It's not actual fish keeping. So, you know, so fish keepers don't like that. It's entertainment. Yeah. So that's AI, you know, that. So I watched this video. Crazy. It's a puffer fish getting punched in the face by a shrimp. I can't think of the name of the shrimp, but it's like it's a hard punching shrimp. It's its defense mechanism, right? And it's like, this is never going to happen. You know, it's not.
I probably watched it 5 times.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's 5 seconds, and you can't get it off, and it just loops. You know. So, and look, it has its purpose, and I'm great that we're using all that AI computing power to generate this video. You know, but at the same time, not as much as the AI trash, because that conversation was, why is this video getting 10 million views? You know.
Yeah,
why is it my beta fish video?
Yeah, that was my cool beta fish video, got 9 views, and this fake, totally wrong AI video has 50 comments, and
because it's entertainment. It's not actual for fish keepers. And then, you know, there's other ones, and they're entertaining, you know, but they're not educational. You know, there's one like I built a Lego train that goes through, you know, fish tanks with tubes through them, and like, oh, you know, cool, like it really cool, and like really done, like it wasn't AI, it was real, but it's not, it's a part of the fish keeping hobby, but it's like nobody does that, you know. But well, like,
I mean, one person.
Yeah, one person. You know what I'd like to see more of? Water bridges from tank to tank. You know, water tube. We can
See,
do that. We can do that in here.
I
That'd
think
be
that's
really
dumb.
cool.
I think they're dumb, and I think the train is cool. Actually, I was like, I would like to have a train in my tank. What are you talking
A
about?
Lego train
But-
down.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
like give me
Lego.
one. No, those tank things are neat because I like it when they're. I think they're cool. But a Lego train would be something.
A Lego train through your aquarium. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think that there's a lot to be said about
It's so dangerous.
yeah. Well, we were talking about the fish and like what's popular. Is it because of social demand, or is it because of what the breeders are making available?
Yeah, like I hear stuff a little bit before like a lot your average fish keeper. I mean, because we just do this is what we do. So do I hear it, and does XYZ Aquatics hear it, and does Farm B hear it? And so we all hear it, and we start talking about it. And
hot.
do we are we making it hot? Because I tell you
What
what,
was the fish you brought up before? You said
the mascara barb, dang it, I just made a post about it recently too. There was a couple of them, and I'm like, we have them here too, and I just can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fish to keep track of, but
It is.
It's not like the staples like neon tetras. I think they're even the stores are getting to the point where it's like this is so much of a problem. It makes us look bad because it's an overbred fish, and they're genetically weak now because there's been no natural selection to thin out the bad fish, and so but people are still going to buy them. But I think like learning that there are better alternatives out there, and like the cardinal tetra is a great tetra, just like the neon tetra, but just a slightly different. If that's the fish that you want, and I think people like them because the blue and the red combo.
Yeah. So
Nice.
This isn't just what I like. I'm personally hoping we see fish that have been ignored for a bit reemerge. Barbs, for instance, and labyrinth finch would be great to see again. And I really, 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 truly think that they are making the comeback, and that's what Bill just said. Why are they? Because we're telling it, because we're just seeing about it. But I think they are. I got the mascara barbs. I got some red panda barbs. There's the ones I can't say. I try to say it all the time. Swab barbs, SAWBWA, or actually like the pygmy barbs, stuff like that you haven't seen around. I'm having a heck of a time getting those through QT. These will be going again. It is what it is. I think they're hard to keep. I don't know. So I do think that'll be a thing.
Well,
and does this have? They seem to be kind of expensive, so we got to work on these things soon. Maybe they'll be around to get popular, and that's just the run of the game, though. The market's going to fluctuate, and stuff's going to go up and down, and that's because everyone has to stay open to do that. Make it so. That's another thing for fish clubs: where to get your fish from, responsibly source them, and stuff like that.
So Diddy divided by 0. You're not Diddy.
Diddy's Fish Den?
What was this? One of the fun projects I used to have with 3 10-gallon tanks inside of a bench I made, and they were connected with tunnels. One heater.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll just tunnel through. That's a great idea.
With PVC, right? I mean, tunnels,
he said he's stepping
instead of bridges. Yeah.
If you're trimming a tank, he's got plants. It's guy. That's what I'm saying. Live plants, but listen, there's something we said that silk plants have a purpose in life, and this tank can't have with what's in there, but
it's
definitely
Hey, so I talk about this all the time, but if Bill moves a little bit, the turtle and Paku are playing together right now, and they will just do this. You probably can't. Can you see them, you guys? I hope so. Hopefully they'll play for a while. It's cute, you guys. They push each other around.
And we grew up together, so I think that's a big part of it. It's like you can't just introduce it. And I heard somebody gave this advice about a betta fish before. People were talking about how do you keep other fish with a betta, and they said you don't add fish to a betta tank, you add a betta to a established community tank. That is the right that fish can't go with a known issue, something that's going to eat it or something that you know is going to be aggressive. But in the same, if you have the right fish, like I've kept auto sync lists with them and stuff like that, and I think that when it's the same mentality you go through with the pea puffers, is that if you're introducing new fish, you got to kind of change some stuff around, move some plants, change the way that the tank is laid out territorially, so that everybody has to reestablish and they'll be fine. If you don't, you get two strangers entering an established community, and no matter where they go, they're in somebody else's space. So it's this mentality you got to do. So it's pretty interesting to see somebody bringing this up, and because that theory was really just me and what I found my pea puffers worked best. And I really just need to move a few things around. I don't need to restructure the whole tank, So, but it's just kind of interesting how we'll see more than just a beta in a tank.
Yeah, I actually think from what I see fluctuating on price lists and what I'm reading too, I think pea puffers are gonna kind of pop a little bit here.
Yeah.
With some of this new nano tanks and stuff like that for a little while. Maybe there's little spikes and stuff throughout the year or two. I don't know.
Yeah. So the problem with the pea puffers is the food, and that's what I think ends up hurting them as fish. And we just hope. And there was a discussion on one of the forums about this, that why are fish stores selling people fish when they sell them a tank? And it was Jody has it up on the walls. Why want to add fish today? And he's this is why the person's posting. He's like, this is why we're having so much failure, because the commercialism and not people wanting instant gratification. And this is not that hobby.
I bought all the stuff to add fish today. I have it all in the cupboard up there to try it out and test it one day.
Yeah.
I just am curious to see what actually happens.
I mean,
but I just have a feeling that it'll work. So,
well, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna work.
I mean,
I
if
think
you just look at, because I know what I don't know.
The problem is that does work. I could take a tank of water right now, put a fish in it, and make sure that fish lives its normal life from there. And it's a lot of work. That's what it is. It's a lot of work. It's not filling it up and then ignoring it and not changing the water. No, you're changing the water constantly to manage ammonia until you can get the thing to process the amount of ammonia you're inputting. And that's it. You could try to add an enzyme booster. You could try and bring up temperature. We can go through all the ways to speed cycle a tank. We're hopefully going to be trying some new products in 2026, because there is big concerns about our medications or the quarantine meds that we normally use going to be available going forward. Almost all of Europe, you have to go to a vet to get any sort of antibiotic for your fish tank. So very holistic approaches are going to become more and more common, because it's just another way to do it. And there are some holistic products. You use a few things now that aren't true medications. They're just more of a to calm the fish and to let the fish naturally heal.
I'm telling you, for years I used like Icex, Melafix, and Pimafix.
Melafix and Pimafix.
But as you start moving more like bigger amount, like bringing in wild fish and stuff like that,
much more.
You just it's just.
Yeah, you're talking about fish that are coming from a breeder, from somebody locally, or from a fish store.
Yeah,
and those, and you do those things and you watch the fish. You don't just I put this in here and now they're healthy and I went 2 weeks. Like you gave me,
sweet Polly, welcome in.
You gave me 2 pea puffers, and he asked me how pea puffers doing. Oh, they're good. They're 2 in a 10-gallon tank. And he's like, what's going on with them? Yeah, so they're still in there. They've got to be 2-3 months, because they're not the right size to be in the tank with the other ones. They're still too small. So I said, I can give them a good life here until they grow up a little bit more, and they'll be
pick around in the
shed. Well, they'll be picked on by the others. So it's that whole introduction. But basically right now there's been a lot of planting and changing going on in that tank, which helps, make it new and make it a space for them. But the idea was grow them out, and are people willing to do that, to dedicate a tank for 6 months just to grow out a fish so it's the right size to go into another tank with the other fish? I think people entering the hobby are not doing that. Absolutely.
You don't have the time. I'm going to just divide by 0. Important. I'm going to put all 3 messages up that divide by 0 cent in order, because it's very true. This is on the taking on medications and stuff away. It does need to be fought here.
Absolutely.
And at every level we can, our voices need to be heard, you guys, through fish clubs, through just different programs. If you can get involved, we can help this and make a difference. We can't be bullied out of this.
Yep.
He goes on to say that he is not exaggerating when he says that we need to rapidly fight against the hobbies not being taken away, because it would be a disaster if it happened to us. It would absolutely cripple it. Now, I like to play devil's advocate. Who are these people who want to take away the medications? Is it a whole bunch of people that don't know? Or, it's fun because people, I say this devil's advocate because I kind of feel I know, because there's other people on the side of it when they talk about taking medications. Oh, it's all the farms and importers because they don't want them, because they want to be able to sell more fish. No, that's not true. They don't want your fish dying. We don't want your fish to die.
No. Because we don't want our fish to die. We were just talking about this, about neon tetras, and that for a store has to figure 50% death rate. So the price of what you pay is double. So you're buying a fish, immediately, say I'm paying X, it's going to be X 2 times is the cost of fish, because I'm going to lose half of them because of they're such a weak breed, and that's not that's just because of what happened to the neon tetra. But I think that it's important that we keep on teaching those lessons about this fish, because if its popularity died back, it actually probably would start breeding better. But the problem is that at this point, it's a staple. Everybody wants it. Every little kid. That's what he pointed out.
Every single one. There's
how many people got an aquarium for Christmas? Is it and now this thing will be a slimy mess in 3 months.
It was just days. Like I think last week there was already hundreds of slimy messes posted online. But
check your Facebook Marketplace for the deal of the week. So
that's too bad. It's sad because it can really turn people off too.
And divide by 0, with dogs and cats, and absolutely, and licensing. Can I license this fish? You have a license for that fish? Like your dog, you have to license your dog, and it's a slippery slope, and so definitely you shouldn't allow this. And we had a speaker in our local club, Sandy, that came in and did that, which is
Sandy
Moore, who basically fights for our rights in Congress, and I'm sure she's on the side of let the hobbyists have the level. Then why they're doing it is they're doing it for environmental reasons, because it gets wasted, and that's why I also be responsible with your stuff. If you've got cyanobacteria, dosing erythromycin is not the answer. First of all, start with cleaning your tank. It's like there's other reasons why this is happening, because people abuse this. And
Anthony just mentioned erythromycin. Is that what I see on there? Oh no. Okay, never mind. I saw the sigh. I can't see.
But what is that? I can't even read that there.
Oh, Shimmer, that should cost next to nothing to purchase as Shimmer has been in the industry forever. So I used to use Shimmer when I was a kid all the time. And let me tell you.
Yes, that's why I let you read that one. But and we were talking, we just saw a post about something going away, and I don't want to cat out of the bag, but a friend of mine, smart guy, and had brought up that he'd been working on a device that has already been tested and used, that they're using for eggs, and to replace what do you
methylene blue.
Methylene blue.
Yeah.
And because that's been a subject of matter of what we're putting in our drains is coming back in our drinking water, and so we're trying to be more and more, aware of these things. And the ideal thing is that, we're not wasting it, but it's an idealistic world to say, I'm going to go to a vet and get a prescription because I think I got fin rot, and it's like, and now all of a sudden
5 days later you get into the vet.
Yeah, 5 days later I bring my fish tank to the vet and he confirms it's fin rot and not, and just don't see it really being realistic and basically hurting the hobby, because then people are just going to try only, household, home brew DIY solutions, salt bathing fish, which works. But if you have plants,
I have fish in methylene blue and salt behind me, glarus right now. That's it.
But salt and plants is a no-go. So it's like,
is it?
Yeah. Well,
because
very low levels. You can use
in
can
you put a
plants.
tablespoon per gallon?
Tablespoon per no with plants. No, it'll kill them. So yeah, well, that's why you kill plants.
I mean,
So, but the
they're my personal plants.
Yeah, probably. I would say a tablespoon by 5 gallons or 3 gallons, maybe at the most. I would say is that before, but and a hardy plant may take to it better than something more sensitive. Vallisneria, jungle valve, any sort of corkscrew valve, it'll probably get killed by it. It's such a fine plant. But an Anubias might be able to take a little abuse like that, and pull through and not die. So
yeah, I suppose plants that I have, so taking the chemicals away and stuff, like hopefully that stuff doesn't leave. I jumped on when I found out you weren't gonna be able to get it I ordered here.
So stock up and but then the Divided by Zero says he doesn't really believe the story, because of the farming industry, and really what it is that the hobbyists are just going to lose out because that's where the blame is being put on. It's not really, they're not saying that people with fish tanks are causing an environmental issue. They're saying this product needs to be licensed and that'll mow it down. But they're already getting what they want. We're not big business, we're just a hobby. But the idea is that if we still approach things in a better, I think that too many people fall victim to the marketing that is in the fish keeping hobby, and that you're getting people they sold. How many people you see making posts like I did a water change and I put this in and then I put this in and then I put this in and then I did stress coat and change the water, put the chlorinator and that's it. It's but they're being told that it's not that good. So we're breaking down here.
Are we?
I don't know.
Oh my, that's too bad. We have poor video here, but I just saw a new person. I think Kish. I think that's what it says.
Yeah, we lost one. So, but
yeah, it does. It's kind of grainy.
Yeah, we're losing it out. I think we gotta pull a plug.
On the other hand, I think we need to reflect on our practices. We do. Oh, I'm reading quietly to myself while I have to the up there. Divide by zero. That's another thing that I see coming this year. I think there's going to be a big push for better management, better practices, better sourcing. At least I'm going to see that as a thing because I'm pushing for it, and we are, and that's the stuff I'm going to choose to take in. One
thing I want to do this year with you is I want to do your favorite fish store tour. We got to make plans and go do this. So he wants to take me up to a place up in Tampa. I want to take him to a place in Fort Lauderdale. And it's funny because I was in the store in Fort Lauderdale, and that's Nature Aquariums, and the customer came in, I want to buy a tank, and he basically it was like they were ready, Well, they started explaining it to him and so on, and that is showing you that they want you to stay in the hobby because that's really in their best
Yeah.
interest.
Oh,
Not,
100%.
and so, but they're a great little like aquascaping dojo. It's a pretty cool place. So I think you'll really enjoy it. And then obviously your place is going to be, fish quality and fish diversity, through the roof. So definitely interesting to see what
Hey chat,
what
how
you
does
do.
that audio and video? Yeah, I'm excited. I want to go there. A couple of the guys from the club talk about that place. How long has it been doing that?
What? I just noticed the video on our end. I have another laptop over here just so I could see what's going on.
Maybe
But
it's
it looks like we're breaking down a little bit. So let us know what the audio sounds like and
what time is
the
it?
videos. I don't know. We've been on an hour and 15 though. So I don't have my phone on me. So I don't know what time it is. Oh, I can tell you right here though. It is 9:19.
9:19.
Yeah. This is why turn distributor. First thing, click on that one.
Oh, this one?
I couldn't read. I didn't read that one.
We'll just go to the top one right here. We'll share some of the wisdom. Anthony's a wise man.
Yes, he is.
On the other hand, sorry, he was talking about college, but we're going to skip that one. You guys go up and read it. On the other hand, I really think we need to reflect on our practices as well. And there are animals in the hobby right now that shouldn't be, and that's 100%.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these things are good. Excuse me, guys, I'm coughing here a little bit dry. Some of the things that I think that are going to be going away, like he points out here, the redfish, catfish, the abadabadabadabadaba, and the arapama. I mean, those are massive. Yeah. Even like big pacu behind me and things like that. Anthony goes on now. There shouldn't be here, and most can't adequately house these things. And why allow them to be distributed in the first place? We will not be distributing any of that stuff here.
Well,
now that I have big pacu, and I have to keep them, and now I realize it more. I sold pacu for a long time, and albino pacu, and I literally was almost going to order albino pacu again the other day, and I was like, holy crap, I'm going to end up with albino pacu back, and I'm going to end up with a lake in my backyard.
Yeah.
So
for a fish.
I don't think even that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it comes to a point where it's like, bigger is better, and everybody pushed it and bigger tanks and bigger tanks, bigger tanks. I mean, personally, I think that how I feel is I would rather have more smaller tanks than that. And I think that, a lot of people over time get overwhelmed in the amount of work it takes, per tank. So, and I think everybody's different what they're looking for. I think that, there's a much easier process when you have a tank that is just for fish, maybe a couple of pieces of wood, a couple of plants, simplicity, where an aquascape that you're trimming and you're working on plants and you're shaping things and trying to make them grow in a certain way, that's a whole different game. And then, still doing the maintenance that everything's gonna need is to get 5 of those to do a week, So it's kind of gets to the point where it's like everybody's gonna have their own level of like, what their Zen level is. But I think that a lot of people bid off a little more than you do, because we see some big tanks for sale down here, and I see a lot of reef tanks for sale, which I think is which happens even worse because it's so expensive. People buy a reef tank and then,
a 300-gallon reef tank, you must say get like just tens of thousands of dollars in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that people buy it and don't realize how much money it costs to fill it and what it really costs to run. It's just a lot of money, But E-Heim has a small filter.
So that's you guys. We don't work for E-Heim again. So that's what really this is what got me, is because when they were first talking about it, is the look that people, who needs it for a big tank? Because I understand like the little tank, that's a pretty big tank. But hey, Sweet Polly, answer your question there. We actually make all of our shirts here, and the cutter is not working. So what I did, Sweet Polly, is couldn't figure out who it was who wanted that shirt, because I went through my emails. If it's cold up where you are, say yes right now, and I would like to send you a 3X hooded sweater instead of a shirt. You ask for a shirt for your gift card. If it's cold where you are, I would love to do the hoodie. Otherwise, you got to wait a couple of weeks for a t-shirt till my cutter gets fixed to put the ink on. So, but yes, I got 3X made in gray and black for you. Light gray. It's super. Please, sweet Polly, make sure, I don't remember who it is actually, make sure I have all your pertinent information. The sweater's actually in a box right over there. I had it closer. I'd put it up on the screen. You guys could see it. Anybody else wants a hooded sweater? I should have brought it over here. You guys, I'll put up hoodies on there. And we'll have some available and some more shirts too. Yeah. What a last crazy couple weeks it's been.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still overwhelmed with this, bringing in the new year, taking the new year out, trying to get through all this, and I'm just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, website just went live. You know, shipping fish.
Oh my gosh! And then I couldn't figure out why. For one, I thought it was broke for a couple months, which was fine. It came out when it came out, but then I'm like, look at all this traffic and people and like raw searches for fish, and I didn't have them listed. They weren't turned on. So if you guys, a lot of the fish that it said I didn't have, if you guys were on the website in the past and you're like, this dude just says he's got all these fish, we actually do.
Yeah.
I just had them all turned off.
So yeah.
And some of them are sold now too, but yeah.
Yeah, but the stock's current. And so,
yeah.
But you know, you got some things coming down the pike, some QC. We got Eddie's rainbow fish coming in.
Yeah, they're
so that's going to be something. So we're gonna try and do. Well, Jody's gonna try and do, and I'll help him. You know, but I'm pushing him because he can do this, right? Some shorts basically showing the fish. I mean, I keep telling him you got this amazing room full of all these tanks, and this really we're doing this shot simply because this is what fits the best in physical space, but the look of all these tanks is just great, and so you know, just to do a couple of shorts and show you the fish that are here, I think that'll be really interesting. And you know, your little breeding projects that you got on. I mean,
the babies.
Yeah, you know, ram's horn snails, and you know, you have all sorts of different things. Depends what you need.
It does.
Everybody needs something. You know, even snails.
Do you want me to put something there?
No, I want you to go back to the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's see what else is in there.
Red-tailed catfish, by the way, made the mistake. Yeah, this is a huge mistake fish.
Dude, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the red kills really are. You should have it somewhere in one of your emails. I bet you I do. I'll let Otherwise, just send it to me again. I'm sure I do. I don't. I'm missing somebody's. So most of the stuff's already sent out. Some of the confusion, just so everybody knows, and with me asking maybe some of you more than once for your address or something, is like, I'm going to use somebody that I know on here for sure. Divide by 0. Okay. Did that always say divide by 0? What was the thing that used to say like Dibby O?
Yeah.
Did he change that? Oh, okay. Anyways, so we use that one for example. I know Anthony, and then I know Dibby O, and Anthony's not a good one because if he was on another thing, he could be Dibby 2.0.
Yeah.
And so so I got a little bit confused, but everything's out. I think there's some shrimp to be delivered. I want to hand deliver those to the person because we're seeing them at Pasco this weekend. Yeah. And I think pretty much everything else is out. And then one other person hasn't got back to me yet about their gift card.
Yeah, a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I just got her package out today, so she'll be getting that. And then overall, you know, it was a fun experience.
Yeah,
it was a good learn out. Hanging out with the people and the response from the community was amazing. Was a really good time. You know how everybody just wanted to kind of chip in, and all those companies pretty much approach anybody, or Dirty didn't approach anybody for you know, anything. And it was all just people that wanted to, you know, check it
Yeah, I
out.
was like, we're doing a Christmas giveaway to someone. They're like, oh hell yeah, that's fun. Oh yeah, Lewis got he took care of that. I know he sent the shirt and hat out the other day. The beta's gone. What else? Just the Ellis Soma from HD Aquatics.
Yep.
It's
So
hard to remember. Eddie's
yeah.
Rainbows. That gift was donated to the Fish Club by Skipper's Aquatics. I think it was. I
Oh,
can't
nice.
remember. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's we're there. We did an hour and a half. I think
We did.
did
We're
good.
good. Good at
You
this
know,
there.
and definitely it was a fun little thing. I definitely want to kind of follow up on the Zeeheim thing as it goes forward, because I got to set up this new tank, and maybe, and I'm into that stuff. I'm a tech geek. I like that. I like the geeky sort of stuff. So
I do have it, Polly. You're right. That's why when I look at the list, I have it wrote down once, and it's by Sweet Polly for Mystery Box, and not on the sweater.
okay.
I think that's because I know it's on the mystery box is sitting. The mystery box, I'm not kidding, Polly, is sitting over there underneath your other package. So you get two packages.
Well, the definitely.
Well, how fun! Polly gets
and
two
he gets
packages because I kicked off there.
Oh, but going forward, we're gonna kind of try and do things like this as we kind of try some new stuff around here. And
yeah,
like I said, we're gonna try some products and stuff like that. And I think that, you know, because I can only do so many things because I don't have so many aquariums, and try, you know, they've got a whole product line. And I do think, you know, I've told Higer this, that I'm going to be honest with them, and I'm not going to, you know, candy coat it. And my big thing, especially like heaters, is that's a big letdown point for a lot of people in their aquariums. Is, you know, the heater fails. And,
I read so much about that. I'm always like, oh,
yeah,
everybody's like, just heat your room, and
yeah.
they're all rude
I mean,
at people.
listen, it's some people that can, and if you want your room 78 degrees, you know,
I couldn't imagine.
so
Just it's hot enough in here.
yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see going forward. I think that
We will.
2026 has a lot to offer us.
It does.
And we'll be
Thank
able to look
you
back
guys
now and see,
so
see if
very
anything
much.
comes true. If I get an Eheim filter from them, Eheim, send me a filter.
Right, Bill needs
We'll
a
do
filter.
review.
You guys,
I'll build a nice
thank you very much. from
Thank you for
both of
stopping in.
us.
Yep.
Peace out, guys. Good night.
Night.
And then I do this and I keep